Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Ramblings from Two Meddling Kids. I'm Edward Hunt, joined by my fellow vigilante,
Mike Cunningham.
and we are the Meddling Kids. And today we'll be reviewing Silent Night. For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. It's good to have you here. For those of you who've come back, welcome back. We'll never spoil anything in the first 15 minutes or so of our pod. So if you haven't seen Silent Night yet, don't worry. We're going to give a 0 to 5 spoiler-free review. To give some background on the movie, then we'll start giving more of a play-by-play and potentially spoiling some stuff. But again, don't worry yet. Mike, 0 to 5, Silent Night. You ready?
Yes.
What'd you give it?
A tight 2.
A tight 2. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this movie would have done better on a streaming service.
Okay.
I don't think it needed a wide release.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe it's not the movie's fault. I think this premise has been done to death.
Okay.
But
it's Christmas now.
I feel like we've done it already. We just did, that Violent Night was something else. But it was just like, I think this premise of vengeance for one man going against an army for vengeance has been done to death.
Okay, fair.
So this movie really didn't change and add anything new to it. Outside of the fact that he was silent, but I feel like there was another movie called Mute or something like that came out on Netflix.
I don't remember.
A few years ago with the same premise. So
Gotcha.
like the guy was mute and his girlfriend went missing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like I think it just didn't grab me like I thought it might. Because I think I did enjoy a few of the action scenes. I think that first scene when he finally gets active.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the first fight scene was like cool.
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate too, like with the storytelling, it was showing that this is just a regular man.
Mm-hmm.
So like his reaction to a lot of the violence and stuff like that was very real, right? It wasn't like, because they didn't give you too much backstory on this person. Normally, once again, in a Taken scenario or something like that, we're just like, oh, I got a particular set of skills and these people fuck with the wrong person.
Yeah.
But this isn't that. This isn't that movie.
For
right?
sure.
This is very much like somebody's dad got wronged and now he's getting vengeance. So I can appreciate them telling that story from there, where you see him being taken aback by what he's doing, or hesitant, or in that way. So I can appreciate that storytelling. I mean, it looked fine. I think there was a few weird, especially early on, camera things. But when I think talking about like now that I'm noticing different directors, like their marks or whatever. I think this is a John Woo thing, right?
John Woo, slow motion, circle the camera around kind of thing. Yeah.
The weird zooms.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just like, I that's something I noticed early on. So I was like, oh shit, because I haven't seen a John Woo movie in a while.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I feel like Mission Impossible 2 or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
It's been a minute. So it's just like,
fair.
But I did notice I didn't know the Woo-isms early on. But yeah, so I don't know. It didn't do anything really new for me. Some of the action scenes were cool. Now, granted, it's a 2, but it was like, I think it's something I could rewatch. Okay. It just wasn't maybe the best action movie that I've seen this week.
Fair.
Even,
yeah. Fair.
So yeah, it was. I think it was cool for what it was. But I think that's a lot of the times these action movies are kind of a dime a dozen. Yeah. Like really, you don't really stand out in a way. So yeah, I'd say 2. I definitely have to tell people to give it a watch. Yeah, like I'm not saying like it's a terrible film. I think, like I said, I just didn't do anything new for me.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm giving it a 5. No, not even a 5. Yeah, I'm giving it a 3. I mean, I guess I liked it more than this guy. No, I liked it. Don't get me wrong. All right. Let's talk about likes. I think great action sequences for sure. I think they felt very realistic action sequences as well. Also, considering the fact that before all the vengeance happens, this man was a normal guy. So like this man had 5 or 6 months of training, and then he went out and then did his thing. So I guess slight spoiler there. But because of that, you get a very realistic feel with some of these fights and what's going on. I enjoyed that. Some of the emotional sequences between him and his wife in the beginning, I enjoyed.
It was only kind of for me. I feel like that's one thing. Another thing this thing was missing. I mean, that's a lot of action movies, right? Yeah. you don't get a lot of depth to these to your characters because it's constantly just rah rah rah, let's go. So now you hit you with a beat like somebody passing away. Yeah, obviously that's just a universal understanding of grieving and stuff like that. But I feel like that's kind of cheap.
Fair
in a way.
I liked watching him come to grips with the fact that not only is his son dead, he also lost his voice in the hospital. Seeing that, I like that emotional connection. That maybe went on a little too long, honestly, of like that whole sequence, considering what this movie is. It's not a little bit of like that. Man, some of the CGI was crap. Like some of the CGI was not good when it happened. There were weird sequences.
I feel like there was a lot of characters that did. Talk about a small cast. We just did the killer. It was just like this one had an even smaller cast, and it was like it could have been tiny.
There were a lot more henchmen though. There was a lot of henchmen 1 through 20 that needed to get gunned down. There were some weird sequences that I didn't fully understand what was going on versus some weird flashbacks to his kid. But those were like my biggest negatives. As a whole, though, I mean, I walked into it expecting just kind of like gritty nonstop action.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of gritty nonstop. Once the action starts, you get a lot of gritty nonstop
Honestly, I was worried it was going to get extra gratuitous because it was like one of the opening scenes of Blood.
It started gratuitous.
Is him like the surgery. And I'm just like, my man, okay. Man. He getting surgery. Chill.
That was a lot. That was an intense surgery for sure. Either way, I'm going to stick with the 3 for it. Just because if you're looking for a ton of action, I thought it was a semi-interesting premise of like it's Christmas time frame and he can't talk, hence silent. Going from there, but there were definitely things that were left to be desired, and also considering the writing at the very end for the note that was left for his wife. I'm glad he couldn't talk because that was the rough run. Because if he was delivering dialogue like that the whole movie, I might have
also
cringed.
With the Silent Night thing, it was just like it kind of didn't matter. I feel like this was a guy that wouldn't talk much anyway.
Yeah, no, not
so
really.
Like you never got in this movie, you never got him adapting to being mute.
Yeah.
Not learning sign language, like nothing, like any restrictions or anything like that.
They just wanted to make a new Christmas movie, and they did because it happened on Christmas. Therefore, the 2 Meddling Kids stances.
They literally just slapped a sweater on him and was like Christmas.
Christmas. Boom. Enjoy your
the Die Hard treatment.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a Christmas movie, just like Die Hard's a Christmas movie. So I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. Mike's giving it a 2 out of 5. We'll see how we match up from here. Let's get some background on this movie.
Okay. So Silent Night came out on December 1st, 2023. The runtime is 1 hour and 44 minutes. I did not find anything on the budget. But I can't see. This is what I feel like when I need to start doing this, and this is on me. When I can't find the budget for this film, I want to go back to see the budgets that this director got for prior films to kind of get a feel.
Mm-hmm. Well, Christmas sweaters are expensive, so that probably added up a little bit.
We don't have the box office as of yet. It just came out, so we'll see. I don't see it doing well.
No, probably not.
I give it at best maybe 10 mil opening weekend, and that's just being nice. I mean, there's no big releases this week.
How many people were in your theater when you saw
it? Maybe 10.
Okay, I'd say it was around the same.
And it was a smaller theater. See, I was confused. I thought maybe they came over from the Beyonce movie or something. Right. But I don't. Actually, maybe that's the competition this week, Beyonce. So.
Yeah. It was funny for my theater because seeing it first night, Thursday at 6 o'clock, it was me and like 9 other single dudes because all of us were just like, I'm here. Scattered. Just scattered throughout the movie. Just a bunch of dudes by themselves watching this movie. And I was like, hell yeah.
That's weird because I got the couples.
Really?
Yeah. I guess a couple next to me. There was a couple in front, and then it was like a group of 4 or 5.
Well, you went to the 8 o'clock. I went to the 6 o'clock. So hey.
But yeah, sorry. So nothing on the box office yet, but we'll see. I'm predicting maybe 10 mil, but also Beyonce's projected at about 30 mil this weekend. So we'll see how that fares. And obviously, you have the prior releases.
Luckily, the Beyonce movie and this movie are very different, so they're not really competing.
I don't know. You got over. That's what I'm saying. I saw a lot of black people in this film. I was just like, y'all know Beyonce is across the. Like, even when I saw them coming, I was like, am I in Beyonce?
I'm like, what's going on here? There was a Color Purple movie as well. There's a lot.
But yeah, so the Rotten Tomatoes as of right now, we just have the critic score at 62.
Okay.
So I think a lot of them said it was like a cool premise, but it was like also, like I said, a little derivative.
For sure.
Genre is action. Director is John Woo, who was big in the early 2000s. He did like Face Off, Mission Impossible 2. Broken Arrow, Hard Target. Those are his American films. He has a bunch.
Okay, I don't think I've seen any of those.
Really? Okay.
I haven't even seen Mission Impossible 2. So.
I mean, Face Off. I feel like you would have seen Face Off.
I don't know if I have.
That might have been his most popular.
Maybe. I don't remember.
And it's funny, too, because Mission Impossible 2, talking about like the signatures of directors, that one definitely has a dub scene and like the slow motion sequence. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just saw Mission Impossible 2 recently before I watched Dead Reckoning.
Okay.
I ran through the series. So it's fairly recent. I was just like, Jesus Christ, I recognize that from somewhere. Yeah. And it was like, John Woo. Didn't even know he directed until I started doing the background for this. Yeah. But I was like, that's what I remember about fucking Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah. I mean, I know the names, so I'm positive I've seen other movies, maybe some of like the overseas films. And
maybe.
Stuff like that too. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry. The cast, you have Joel Kinnaman as Brian Godluck. Never said that out loud.
It's a little odd. The name Godluck.
Catalina Moreno as Saya, that's his wife. Harold Torres as Playa, that was the main bad guy.
Okay.
With the tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
No, really dope, by the way.
You liked it? I thought it looked like a kid scribbled with crayon on his face.
So at times it looked like a T-shirt for like the West Coast or whatever, like the palm trees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or it looked like shattered glass. I don't know. It looked dope.
I thought he had a lot of really cool tattoos, and then I thought it looked like a kid kind of scribbled black crayon on his face for the face tat.
And then you have Kid Cudi as Detective Vassal.
Yes.
Which, once again, I feel like he was also silent in this film.
Yeah, he was.
Didn't say a goddamn thing. It was fairly pointless.
Well, yeah, because literally after his wife talked a little bit in the beginning, and then she stopped and just started communicating via text, and then the detective never spoke. I don't think the bad guys ever spoke besides like really yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was definitely like, it was a silent movie.
Which is interesting because No One Will Save You is a Hulu movie that just came out, like Aliens.
Okay.
With the homegirl from Booksmart.
Oh, okay.
Not Jonah Hill's sister, but
the other one.
Yeah, but it was a silent movie until the end. But that was a whole thing.
Yeah,
that was interesting. But I feel like that did silent movies better.
Yeah, look, I mean, I like the fact that it was like this is focused purely on action and purely on like kind of trying to get in what was going on. Like the very opposite of The Killer, where he monologued constantly. This was the complete opposite.
That's crazy that we did that.
The complete opposite, where this man says nothing. Yeah.
But it's also too is like talking about when we were doing Little Mermaid and how a big part of Little Mermaid was the silent action and having to emote.
Yeah,
I feel like homeboy emoted a lot, but it was just like I didn't get anything.
He had various levels of anger.
Yes,
various levels of anger
because he looks like like a crackhead from outside of a liquor store. He always seemed angry, so it was like there was no difference in any of those.
Well, sometimes he was angry sad. Sometimes he was angry happy. All right,
drunk angry.
Yeah, drunk angry for sure. That was one.
I fucked up angry.
Yeah, exactly. Understanding why my wife left me angry. Get it? It's just angry.
It was just like he didn't have the range. Once again, the emotional range to deliver a silent performance.
Yeah.
If you understand, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I said, he delivered on the anger.
Yes, he did.
But it was like, if that's your base, then you can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like at least my face is calm. Like most people, there's a certain calm, and then you go from where you need to be. But he just started angry, and he was like, I can go to a 13.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you think I'm angry now? How about now? And I'm like, all right.
I will get loud. Sorry. Anyway, and then we talked about Kid Cudi the last.
How do you think Kid Cudi did, even though he didn't talk or do anything?
So, I'll say this because I think black people don't know how to give compliments. The first time I saw Kid Cudi, my first thought was that boy got a big ass head. But I think what I was trying to say was he looked good. He lost weight. But since we don't know how to be nice,
I thought his head matched his body well in this movie. For the record,
no, he was straight Charlie Brown in it, baby. That's what I realized. I was like, bro, why you gotta be so mean? Just say something nice. I was like, I did. Got a big ass head, small ass body. That was me being super nice. But no, I've seen him have better performances. But once again, it's if you can't talk and like it's like how in After Earth with Will Smith, right? Okay. You had Will Smith, one of the most charismatic men actors in the world, and now he has to be stoic. Yeah. But what you bring Will Smith in is to be himself, is to be that charismatic. So it's just like you're stripping that actor of his best quality.
Well, I mean, at the time, like he did, the one he got the Oscar for, the Venus and Serena.
Yeah, but still, there was still a charm to.
Wasn't it? Okay, yeah,
there was still a charm to. Once again,
that's fair. Yeah.
And after he was stoic.
Fair, okay.
And that's not Will Smith at all.
I was thinking young Will Smith with like Men in Black, Wild West, where it's kind of like charismatic, like a little more.
But that's what I'm saying. You strip that's what brought you to the theater. That was like, so it was like with I think with most actors, sorry, if they can't talk, you wouldn't be able to get that performance out of them. Yeah. Like I said, with the Little Mermaid, Haley, I can't remember her last name.
Isn't it?
No, it's Holly Bailey. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But it was like even with her, like great singer and stuff like that. But some of those emotive scenes in Little Mermaid, she couldn't pull off.
Yeah, fair.
And the same thing with this. I think a lot of these actors. I mean, I think the wife did fairly good. But all she had to do was cry most of the time.
Yeah, cry and leave.
But for Joel and Kid Cudi, I don't think they were able to pull off a good performance without talking.
Okay,
but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the tagline is "Actions speak louder than words."
That's true, because there were not a lot of words that were spoken. All right. So before we get into our play-by-play and some spoilers, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Edward Hunt. I'm on the Just Be team with Compass. We are all about finding where you're meant to be. So I primarily work in the DMV. That's DC, Maryland, and I have other people on my team in Virginia. So if you need any advice on the market there, feel free to reach out and we can tell you what's going on. Or if you need some phenomenal handyman or contractors, I just met with a phenomenal electrician earlier today. Feel free. We can give you those recommendations as well. And then finally, if you need lenders for HELOCs, refinancing, or just regular financing a home, we got you covered. And also a great thing with Compass is we, again, are nationwide. So no matter where you are in America, I can find you a real estate professional. So feel free, reach out, and I'll connect you. Also, I'm a comic book writer. I have Evil as a Weapon. Issue 1 is on Global Comics. I have some physical copies in a few local comic book stores, and I would love for everyone to check it out and read it. I'm working on a website and store for online. Stuff like that's hard. I've never done it before, but I'm figuring it out, darn it. And we'll go from there. All right, now let's start getting into some of our spoiler territory. So if you want to see Silent Night, I say go see it as long as you want a ton of action. Maybe pause and then come back, or hey, we'll tell you how it goes. How does this movie pick up? What's going on?
Okay, so it opens with our main character, Brian, running in slow motion. And that's another thing I will say. Overdid slow motion.
There was
fucking Christ. Not since 300.
There was a lot. And especially this, I mean, it was like 5 minutes of him running in slow motion.
That's what was like, in its opening scene, I was like, at some point he got to go full for like regular.
Well, they also did like all the opening credits and everything with it too.
It went way too long. But anyway, so we get Brian running in the streets. We see that he has a bell on his like on a necklace,
a Rudolph sweater,
and a Rudolph Christmas sweater, and it seemed really fairly regular, right?
Yeah.
And then you see his bloody hands, and like, holy shit, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And so he's running through the streets. You see him kind of chasing a balloon.
Yeah.
And then when it goes into real time, he's running through the streets. You don't know if somebody's chasing him or he's chasing after something.
Yep, no idea.
Like I said, you assume it's the balloon, but I'm just thinking, how you gonna get that balloon much?
Yeah, 100%. That thing is up in the air, sir. I don't know. Yeah.
But and so at this point in the movie, I'm watching like, is there drugs in the balloon?
Yeah, right. I thought the same thing actually.
Because once again, being that I'm trying to do better at not watching trailers. Just to not give me a full, because depending on what the trailer is, it can give you the whole movie. Mm-hmm. Now, I do try my best, especially watching these movies, to try to go in like as unbiased as possible.
100%. The only thing I knew about this movie was that poster right there. I'm like, all right, dude with a gun, let's see it.
But yeah, so he stops for a bit because he's like kind of getting his bearings, and then you see that there's two cars,
and he's out of breath as fuck.
Yeah,
he's running for a while.
Well, you can't run in a heavy, ugly sweater.
That's true.
It's okay, you need a tank top. Right. But you see him stop for a bit to kind of get his bearings, and you see that the two cars like driving next to one another, shooting. Mm-hmm. And it was like the funniest shit to me because I'm just like, okay, y'all next to each other shooting. How the fuck is everybody still alive in that car?
Very bad shots. Remember, you have to remember, gangbangers. Stormtroopers. Gangbangers are terrible shots. All right, there you go.
I was like, there's no, because they were like, it's not like they were being chased. Like it wasn't like one car behind the other. They were side by side, shooting outside the window,
just missing every shot
until the end. But yeah, so we see him like kind of chasing after these cars somehow. I don't know how he's gonna get it. But then one of the cars, like they shoot the driver finally, and then it crashes.
Yeah.
And then Joel,
super bad CGI slow mo.
That
was bad.
It started.
It was like that for the most part. It was really only like that, and maybe one more that I remember being like, that's meh CGI. Other than that, I was like, okay, whenever they did use CGI, whatever.
But I'm also at times I'm trying to like not let that take me too much out of it.
For sure.
Yeah. It's obviously if we're taking notes, I'll note it down, but it's not. I don't want it to fully take me out because obviously we want to protect stuntmen and like people.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. You cannot flip a car like that without people dying. So yes, no, that's important. Yeah.
But so one car flips, the other one drives off, but Brian is able to get ahead of it and kind of smash the windshield.
Yeah.
And then so it crashes into like a forklift or something like that.
Well, so it like crashes. He hits it with a crowbar. They like turn around. They start chasing him, and they're gangbangers, so they can't shoot at all. Yes. Even though he's literally like 5 feet in front of them. He's running down an alley.
Yes.
Then he sees a forklift, and I'm like, how did you pull off that stunt, sir? But okay, considering you're a normal guy. He does like the whole like jump up off the forklift to then jump on the truck, and then the forklift goes and decapitates
the driver. No, just the driver. I thought.
I think there was a guy in the front seat and a guy in the passenger seat.
No, there were, but I thought maybe the main guy.
I assumed he was in the back seat.
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough. Actually, that makes sense later in the movie.
Yep, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, the two people in the front seat get decapitated.
It's like sudden too,
and I think that's what once again it's establishing this universe or whatever. Yes. Clearly, we're in the real world or whatever, but it was just like as far as how far the gore is going to go.
Yeah, because you see some guys get shot, and it's not super gory when they get shot. So I'm like,
especially because of that CGI and the
but I'm like, okay, maybe not. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, and these dudes just get
smooth off.
Yeah,
but yeah, so the guy in the passenger whose name is Playa. He gets out, and Joel is sitting there like something. I guess he fell off the car.
So he's a little winded or something. So he tries to get out. Playa shoots him in the back.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he shoots him in the throat.
Well, he shoots him in the back first.
Oh, okay.
He shoots him in the back, then he falls with the fence, and then Playa shoots him
okay. So that makes sense as to why for the physical therapy, because I was wondering why he couldn't walk.
Yeah, he got shot in like the back a little bit. Yeah.
Okay,
so I don't think it was the spine, but he did get shot.
Got it. Okay. Yep. Thank you. That frames a lot of things for me. Appreciate it.
No wonder you gave it a 2.
So. Playa comes up, shoots Joel in the throat, and then we just kind of go off. And it was like once again because I hadn't seen much about this film, much about the trailer or anything like that. I mean, you're questioning like, who is this? Like,
I'm like, what's going on?
Clearly, like and I've seen this guy in several other things, and usually he plays like an ex-CIA or like some military dude, like something like that, or maybe something in the criminal underworld, or undercover cop or something, whatever it is. He's always playing somebody in that world. Yeah. So I'm just trying to. Who's he playing this time? Anyway, we jump to like he's on a gurney or whatever in the hospital. We see that he has survived, but there's like obviously there's a bullet in his throat.
Yeah. Oh, it's a brutal surgery and everything. Yeah.
And so like as he's getting wheeled into surgery and like they actually show you them removing the bullet and then I'm like kind of cleaning it up.
Is there normally that much blood in surgery like that where they have to vacuum it out with tubes? I don't know.
I just know that at some point I was like, you get turned away.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of blood going on.
As somebody who went through surgery was just like, no, knock me the fuck out. Do it.
Right. Because I was like, aren't they supposed to kind of like, close off the arteries or veins a bit so that way they can't? I don't know. Yeah.
But anyway, and this is where we get the first of the weird, obviously you mentioned the CGI with the car flip, but I noticed the weird camera zoom. So like his wife clearly comes to the hospital trying to see him.
And she's also covered in blood. Hands covered in blood, etc.
And that was interesting because I saw her covered in blood. I was like, did she get to him first?
Right. That's what
I thought because of the fact that we haven't gotten the full frame of the story. But he does this weird thing, like John Woo does this. He keeps zooming into her face.
Yes.
And I was just like, what's going on? Because he does it several times, and I was just like, what is there something in her eyes?
We have to see she's upset. Like they're like, are you sure she's upset? How about now?
It was just weird. I was like, I saw it the first time. I don't need it several other times.
But did you really see it?
I mean, my glasses are fogged. I'll give you that. But yeah, so a little bit. Obviously, we see the surgery. Yeah. A little bit later, he wakes up. Obviously, there's a bandage over his neck, and he's like, he just wakes up furious. Yeah.
Well, Kid Cudi comes.
Oh, and that's when is that right before he wakes up?
It's right before he wakes up.
Yeah. So then Detective Vassal comes in.
Kid Cudi.
And that's when I was like, that boy got a big ass head. the first thing I noticed.
But so Detective
as
Bassett,
a compliment,
his character's name is Detective Bassett. Because every time I saw it, I was like, yeah, Kid Cudi. But I'm like,
that's another thing
Bassett.
too. It's like there's like that's why Drake can't go back into acting. Like he's too big. Mm-hmm. Same even Kid, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't take yourself out of like who you actually are.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he comes in and Detective Vassell comes in and just leaves his card.
Yes,
and this is where you find out his name. Because even then, I'm just like, who is he? Is he like a friend?
I thought he was going to finish the job.
That's what I'm saying. I am still framing this story. I don't know shit. I know Homeboy was chasing after a car, got chased, got shot.
Yep.
And then like now here we are. So I'm still piecing together things because the movie hasn't really given me much. And so like he leaves his detective leaves his card. Brian wakes up, furious.
Yep, very upset.
And so his wife is there for him, like he's consoling him at first, and then like we just see the passage of time. He's like doing physical therapy.
I thought there was a cool scene when he couldn't talk and he's like screaming in the
mirror. Yeah, so there's the first where it's like he's trying to he's walking with a cane, so like his wife has something. And like he kind of knocks it, like pushes it over and tries to walk to her. And
it's
falls.
Cute for a second, and then like, man, you were moving way too quickly. I'm like, sir, he was just shot. Please, like, that's your fault.
It's so funny because of the fact that I didn't see him getting shot in the back. I was like, bro, you got shot in the throat. Are your legs dead?
No, I was like, man, you're
being real insensitive.
I get it. You're trying to be cute with the apple. I understand, but come on, man. Like, give him the apple, damn it. Give him the apple.
And then you're right. There was that scene where he's at the mirror and he's like trying to speak and he can't. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then his frustration just builds, and he's like screaming, with the sound off, basically.
Yeah. Which I thought was cool. Like for some of that, like again, him displaying that, I thought was really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so then eventually they leave the hospital. I think it says it's like January something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's a little bit after Christmas.
Yeah. And sorry, 1 second. Yeah, so then next we get them. He gets in the car. They're driving through their neighborhood, and you just see crime. Like there's like gang violence. You see a drug deal going on.
Is this when like the radio's talking about the interest rates? I was like, all right, man, this is a little too close to home right now. Where it's like the government's talking about high interest rates. I'm like, all right, guys, I get that, but come on. I try to keep work at work.
And that's what was funny too, because it was like I'm listening to the radio as if this is important information. Yeah, because sometimes that's how they exposit things. I was just like. Should I be taking notes?
I think it was just trying to be like, yep, world sucks. There's crime, high interest rates. Everything's terrible for this guy.
So his wife pulls into the driveway, and this is where we get those initial flashes. So like he gets out of the car, and you just see it like the camera swipe, and it's clearly from a prior time. You just see a little boy, presumed to be his son, is in the like kind of waiting for him. He's getting out of a truck after work,
an electrician,
and this is where you find out he's an electrician. And the boy's like playing soccer, so he goes to play with him. They roll around, and obviously, it's a heartfelt moment. And you kind of flash back to the present, and the soccer ball is still there, but it was like it's not as bright as that day. Yeah. It's like it's a little bit drearier.
Soccer ball's covered with dirt. Yeah. There's still Christmas decorations in front of the house, which because this happened on Christmas.
Yeah, and so they go into the house, and we see that the tree is still up, presents still left unwrapped, and like he kind of.
I guess Christmas Eve technically is when this happened.
Possibly, yeah. And so you see him kind of sit in front of the tree, see the presents still like wrapped and like just kind of break down crying and stuff like that. And then we get kind of more flashes of him with his son.
Yep.
And then he kind of goes into the hallway and kind of starts like tearing stuff down in the hallway.
A cuckoo clock goes off. It pisses him off too. Yeah.
And then we see that there's underneath, like I think by the phone where they cut the phone or something like that, there's an article.
Yes.
With the I guess the picture cut out, but the article just reads young boy slaughtered or something like that.
Young boy killed by stray bullet.
Yeah, stray bullet.
Yeah, stray bullet and gang shootout or something like that.
So this is we presume that's what happened to his son.
Yep.
And then like immediately after he rips that up, and he immediately goes to the fridge, grabs a bottle of Svedka, and just starts chugging.
Yeah.
And then like obviously it's fucking vodka straight, so you're gonna I don't care who you are. Like, you gotta, spit some of that back up.
Yeah, for sure.
But then we just see that now. Once again, we said that he left the hospital January.
Yeah, he grabs a vodka, then he goes to like the garage, sits down, and just starts drinking.
And now we see it jumps to April.
Yeah, or like Easter or something like that, which is like
I just know. Yeah, it was April. And his wife is like, she's getting prepared. And like she sees him in the garage, like from the kitchen, the door's open. She sees him with his back to her. He's in the garage just drinking.
And there's like 20 empty Svedka bottles just around.
Yeah. And like, so she goes to go to talk to him, and she was like, nah, and she texts him instead.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where, because she was talking a little bit in the hospital, talking a little bit some other time, and now it's just texting. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so she texts, and then this is what I appreciated too. It was just like, I mean, it's something simple, but it was like, if you're gonna have us read text, please don't have me read them on somebody's fucking phone.
Oh, you just put it up.
Like, put the bubbles on the screen.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. We're getting old. We can't see as good anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I just sound like an old man.
Yeah, I still am, man, but I'm sticking with it. We're over 30, man. We need eyes.
But so you see her asking about his keys, and he just responds no. Yeah. Her keys, and she responds no. So she leaves. I think he leaves the garage for a bit. Then he goes into his son's room or something like that, and it's clearly they left it, however it was like months prior. And he sits there for a bit. No, first he sits outside.
Yep.
And I think he like kind of more reminiscing about his son, and then he goes inside, and we get finally a flashback of what happened.
Yeah.
And so we see that his wife, and the son were outside on the front lawn, playing with the bike that they had gotten the kid for Christmas.
And this is why I was thinking, I'm going to make the joke. This is why you can't give kids presents before Christmas. If they hadn't have done that, the son would have been fine. All right.
I think more of the just as problematic.
That's the moral of the story.
I think the moral is stop flaunting your fucking gifts
in front of the lawn. There you go. Yeah.
Clearly, we did not get the right messages.
No.
Yeah. So like, the family's outside. The wife is taking a video of like the boy with the bike, and there's a little balloon tied to it, and like Brian is like hoisting the bike up with the boy on it. They're just having a heartfelt moment. And in the background, you hear gunshots. Yeah.
So we got to remember, actually, the real moral. This is why you don't videotape anything. Because if you videotape a nice moment, then bad things will happen.
I felt like it was the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, it was just right there. I'm like, yeah, this is a touching moment.
It's like, did you start having a good day?
Yeah.
Foolish.
Exactly. You to keep your day baseline.
You start your days with Svedka, because it can only go up from here. But yeah, so the family's having a heartfelt moment with the boy playing with his new bike, and in the background you hear gunshots.
Yep.
And then the camera zooms to these two cars, literally just speeding down the street in parallel, firing at one another.
And it's the two cars from the opening scene.
Two cars from the opening scene. So you just see they pass the house firing shots. Not Joel. I'm going to stop calling him by the actor's real name.
Yeah.
Brian tries to cover his son. His wife gets down as well, but it's too late. His son gets hit by a straight bullet.
Yep.
And this is where you see the blood on his hands, the blood on his wife's hands. And then immediately, I think he just breaks out into a rage and starts chasing after the car.
Yeah, was he chasing after the car or the balloons?
Maybe.
I don't know, because he was watching the balloon.
Maybe the balloon. The balloon.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, you're dealing with grief.
Yeah.
That's a terrible fucking tragedy. Like, how is anyone going to react? I don't know. But yeah.
But then he kind of just snaps back to reality, right? And
oop, there goes gravity.
So this is where you see something change in him. He goes to the garage. He takes the bottle of vodka, and he throws it out.
Yeah.
And you just see him starting getting to work.
Yeah, which is great. He gets himself out of this, because it was at this point in time too. I'm like, obviously, again, you're dealing with grief, you're dealing with tragedy. It's very hard. But I'm like, 4 months of you just kind of drinking vodka,
and also, like you see a little bit further. But it was like, you're not the only one that lost something.
For sure, yeah.
Or lost someone, sorry.
Yep.
So it's just like, and I guess, once again, you've been there. Sometimes you don't know how to help people grieve or anything like that, but it was just like, your wife was also suffering. So like, she lost a kid and also lost a support system, and that could have helped her deal with it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So it's just like, I mean, both of them are going through a lot and not able to discuss it with one another or, work through it. But yeah, so he gets to work in the office. And then, like, so his wife gets home, and she sees that he's, not in the garage. Or was he in the garage?
He was in the garage. So she assumed that he was going to be asleep because she drank all night. But she was like, he's not asleep. What the hell? And she assumed that she saw the bedroom open. So she maybe he's in here. No. And then she texts like, I miss him too, or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just completely ignores it because he's like working out and doing shit in the garage now.
And so then we see the next day that he goes to Detective Vassal's office. And as he's sitting there waiting, he sees a bunch of mugshots and stuff like that for like the gang in their area. Was it G17 or some shit like that?
I think so. Yeah, G17. Okay. Is that a real gang?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't get a chance to look anything up.
Yeah.
As far as like the the historical of it. But
because there's MS-13, so maybe there's kind of like a play on that or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah,
and so he just, as he's in office by himself, he just starts taking pictures of all the mugshots, and he recognizes a mugshot of Playa because of the tattoo.
Was it Playa or Playa?
I don't,
because it's Playa La Playa is the beach in Spanish, or Playa is Playa for gangbang.
Because I assume they're like Mexican or something, like they were like Mexican gang. That's why I keep doing that.
Yeah, fair. But at the same time, like if he's a gangbanger,
because I feel like Playa would have been somebody different.
That's fair. I mean,
not to be that dude.
Vamos a la playa.
But yeah, so he takes a bunch of pictures of the gang members from Vassal's wall, and Vassal sees him, but they don't ever interact.
Well, then he like walks out. So like, did Vassal like let him in the office?
That's
leave to grab coffee.
Again, because it was like, was he even in his actual office? Because it seemed like Vassal was going into another office.
Yeah, or something.
But anyway,
because then he like walks in the elevator, and Vassal sees him, and then he's like, looking angrily ahead, and I'm like, did he not invite you in that office? I literally thought, I was like, didn't he invite you in the office? Like, I don't know.
But I feel like that's what's weird. If you don't have any exposition or any dialogue,
you don't fully know.
A lot of it is up in the air.
Yeah,
because it could have been something where like all you see is Vassal leaving his office with Brian sitting there to go get coffee.
Yep.
And then by the time he comes back, he's already gone.
Yeah. So maybe it was like he sat down, was like, "Hey, do you want some coffee?" And he was like, "I'm gonna get some coffee for me. Don't do anything crazy in my office. Don't take pictures of all the shit right there."
But you can even do that. Like I said, you can even do that without the dialogue. But it was just like to frame it a little bit different.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, so now Brian has all this information on the gang. So he's prints it all out, puts it on the wall, and like he starts working out.
It's time to do pull-ups, baby. Pull-ups.
Sorry. And then first he starts working out, and then he marks Christmas Eve on the calendar. Yeah. And he just puts "kill them all."
Yep.
And then you see him like working out. So and then he starts training. So he's doing push-ups. He's watching videos on like tactical combat.
Yep.
And stuff like that. He goes and buys a new car.
Yeah. He has a training dummy. He buys a car.
Yeah. And then you just see him getting ready, prepared. And at the same time, like, so you see, like,
he's spending all the money his wife's making because she still has a job, and he's just throwing out fat stacks of cash.
But so over the next few months, you just see him kind of obsessed with training and like driving. Like he's practicing driving.
Yeah, he practices driving, practices shooting, practices knife. He's like has a training dummy. He's doing like some basic judo, jujitsu, and like hand to hand.
And like so, you see his wife watching, but also kind of like in tears, seeing that he's obsessed with this, and I also like just seeing that like she's going through, like she texts, "I miss him too. I'm going through it too. Yeah, why can't we like talk about
be
this?
Nice if we could." Yeah,
and but as you see, just the months going by,
I did like very reminiscent to me of like Old Boy, like the original Old Boy in Korea movie where he's like locked in the hotel room and that's he like picks a pointed wall, starts punching the wall, starts doing push-ups, sit-ups, and that's how he trains his body to be able to do all the stuff.
I think I agree with you. It's very much a montage, but being that we don't know anything about this person, because even him being an electrician, it was like a flash.
Yeah, just a flash. Yeah.
So just like that gives you the fact, okay, he was just a regular Joe type of thing. For sure. But I think I did appreciate him showing him gaining this skill. Yes. Because like so we just talked about the killer. Like so often it was like you just meet this person at the height of who they are. Yeah. Right, which is fine. Like it's like I don't need to see you go through school.
Yeah, but for for it to be that normal guy, you can't just have a normal guy be a fucking badass out of nowhere for no reason.
Because look at like Nobody, right? Yeah. Like obviously he had a past, but it was like he was pretending to be until like he snapped. Yes, type of thing. But it was like even that they didn't show him going like once I said it's not necessary for you to give that much backstory on a character. Yeah, but it was very cool to see his progression in this. But yeah, so the months pass, and I think sometime around like September or so, you get a moment with like him and his wife. Yeah, and like they're sitting on the couch, hugged up, and like she's like crying in his arms. I'm like, oh, thank God! Like,
it seems like they actually had something. Yeah, I was like, oh, what a nice moment between the two.
And then you see her grabbing her bags and leaving.
And that's why, remember, don't have nice moments. Because whenever nice moments happen, bad things happen. That's how movies work.
And so we get more of this training. I think October hits, and you see him. He's been doing surveillance as well. So he's listening to a police scanner. He's going to the gun range, and he's getting. But you see, once again, you see all that progression. Yeah. And you see him doing surveillance outside of like a, I guess a warehouse of sorts.
Some kind of weird, decrepit.
Yeah. and it's the base of the G17 gang.
Yeah.
And so like he's taking pictures of different gang members and kind of matching them up to the pictures he has from Vassal's office.
Yes. Yeah.
And so shortly after that, we get him. He goes to the grocery store because his wife is left. He's by himself.
Yeah.
He goes to the grocery store. He's leaving. He has a moment with a little boy that's coming into the grocery store, which is super weird.
Yeah.
I get it. Once again, grief.
Because it's showing that he's like so living in the past. Like he sees this little boy and he immediately thinks of his son. So he sees the little boy as his son. But it's like, yeah, man, you can't be stroking little kids' faces in public like that, my boy.
This is Face Off. I feel like John Travolta did that a bunch to the little boy in Face Off. I feel like it's John Woo's direction. I feel like I'm linking.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he has a moment outside of the grocery store with the little boy, and the mother immediately just grabs the little boy and runs into the store.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't think that's how that would have ended.
I mean, she's like, "Who's this crackhead? Grab my boy! I gotta get the fuck out of here." Yeah.
I told you. Clearly standing outside the liquor store. Up to no good. But yeah, so then he's walking to his car and SUV pulls up and it's Playa and his gang.
Yeah.
And like
Playa and his gang.
Yeah. He's like, he walks past first he's at his car.
Yes.
And he sees a guy staring at him standing outside the SUV. And when he goes he goes into his car and then he looks back and that guy's gone.
Yeah.
But then he sees Playa and his men walking towards him, walking past him. And the kids in the neighborhood are all coming to them, and he's handing out money.
He's handing out money to everybody.
Like, even though he's a criminal, I think the neighborhood kids kind of respect him.
Yeah. It was funny too because I was confused because at first, the first two kids to run up were these two teenage white kids.
And I thought they were looking for.
I thought they were looking for drugs.
Yeah.
Maybe they were, honestly. But then the rest is a whole bunch of little kids all crowd around him. He's just throwing out money to all of them, and then he just leaves.
No, not before.
Oh, yeah.
So first, Brian, this is the guy.
Yeah.
So he has a knife on his belt or whatever. So he takes out the knife and is kind of walking towards the killer. I call him the killer instead of Playa.
Yeah.
He walks towards the shooter.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is he right now?
Right in front of
these kids?
Yeah, man.
All right.
If he was serious
if
about his revenge.
on-site was a person.
Yeah, if he was serious about his revenge, he would have done it.
But then he kind of comes to his senses, put the knife away. And I love how it had the shink into the... I was just
right back up on the side there. I'm like, that was a brutal knife.
I was like, did he stab himself? But anyway, so he puts the knife back in, and then the shooter goes to leave, and then one of as Brian is going back to his car, to get to the driver's side, he bumps into one of the G17 gang members.
With the head henchman guy with the sharp teeth. Yeah.
And then he falls in front of the shooter's girlfriend, and first of all, he notices there's
that camera pans real heavy on the fact that she does heroin.
Yes.
Yeah, because her veins are all pokey and messed up.
And then she looks at him and then just pours ice cream.
Yeah, laughs and pours green ice cream on him. And I'm like, oh man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So then he goes to the house and then he starts gearing up.
Yeah.
And then you see him go to the house. He sneaks into the house of, I thought it was possibly the leader, but that doesn't make sense. Maybe it's the accountant.
Yeah, some other
the money guy, moving money for the gang or whatever.
Yeah.
But so he goes to his house, very nice house, breaks in, and the guy's leaving his bedroom to go kind of down the hallway, down the stairs, and Brian just hits him and he breaks through the glass on his stair.
Yeah, that was some interesting.
And it was once again one of those fake ass CGI slow mo.
Yeah, going through the land.
Yeah. And then so that guy's knocked out. Brian takes him back to his house, which I'm like, why didn't you get a warehouse or something? What are we doing?
Yeah, hey, he's a regular guy. All right, he's just a normal dude.
At least a storage unit. Come on.
No, he's not thinking about that. He doesn't care. All he cares about is the revenge, and that's it.
Anyway, so he takes I will call him the accountant back to his house. He ties him up on the from the ceiling.
How that man's tied up too. Yeah.
And he puts on a mask, and he just because he can't talk, he just has two printouts, and it's just basically questions about the gang's activities, what they're selling, what they're moving, and all these questions.
Yeah.
And so the guy initially is I'm not answering any of this, and so Brian takes a knife, puts it on the point up on the table, and kind of pushes the guy's head towards the knife. He was holy shit, this guy's not playing.
Yeah.
So then Brian idiotically, but once again we'll see that this is his first.
Yeah, this is his first foray into this. Yeah.
So he stabs the knife into the table
because he thinks it's intimidating.
Yeah, and then sits on the other side of the table. The dude pretends to look at the papers to answer the questions, and then uses the knife to Well, first he like kind of pushes him away.
Yeah, he like punches him or pushes him or something, and then
and then uses the knife to cut his restraints,
cut the bonds,
and then they get into this fight that starts in the.
That is a brutal fucking.
That's what I'm saying. I really like this was a.
I loved that fight. It was so good because it's so like they are both. Brian's an amateur, so he's never been in a death fight like this. The other guy clearly has some expertise, but he's still been like tied up, beat up a little bit, etc. So they're on more or less even playing fields, but like stabbed in the leg and like just like. How they're utilizing everything around them.
I think that was what I said. I truly appreciate a fight scene or hand-to-hand combat scene where like they're utilizing their environment.
Yes.
Whether it's pushing somebody through walls or something. Like it was just like trying to get the upper hand because we talked about this with the killer. It was like, that the brute was huge. So you have to use other means to defeat that person if you're hand-to-hand. You're not just going to go in a fist fight against a giant. Like you need to find out other ways to defeat it.
For sure.
And utilize your environment. So in this, they started in the garage and then like they get to the kitchen. I was like, why would you take them to the kitchen? With the knives?
with all the extra knives. Or even like, using the freaking dryer lid. Hit him in the head with the dryer lid. I'm like, what? Yeah. It was a great fight.
It was really good.
Yeah.
But so eventually Brian gets the upper hand, slams the guy on the kitchen table, and it breaks.
Yeah, it was the slow motion spin break too, because Brian's like, and you just hear the table creak and break, and I'm like, yep, that was cool. That was great fight scene.
So now it is the week. Oh, so
then he drops off the dude.
So it was like this before he went to pick up the accountant. You see that it's the week of Christmas or the night of Christmas Eve. So like it goes back to the calendar. He has Christmas Eve circled to kill them all, and it zooms out. And I thought this was funny. I don't know if you noticed it, but or maybe around the 26th or like the next week, it says get answers, and I was just like, so you're gonna kill them all,
kill them all,
and then
get answers. Yeah, that was like,
I don't know if that's how that works. Yeah. I don't want to be that guy. Okay, clearly it's your plan.
I mean, Google. You just
kill them all, get answers, be happy.
Be happy. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. Done.
But anyway, so like now that he has the accountant, he first he goes and visits his wife, or he just kind of parks outside of her new apartment. Yeah, and he sees that she's painting a picture of Taylor.
Yeah, their son.
I believe their son's name.
Yeah, Taylor Godluck.
Once again, it's good luck. Fine, Godluck is just weird.
Luck. Yeah.
But so he goes to the. He goes to see his wife and ex-wife, I assume, and she's painting. He kind of smiles.
Technically, they're probably just separated. You can't get. I think for a divorce, you need to be separated for a year first, or something like that. Yeah. Depends on the state.
Did he go visit the grave?
I think he visits the grave maybe on the day of or something, because he gives the detective the note.
But that's what I'm saying. So like, he does this all before he starts on his vigilance mission. Yeah. So he visits the wife. He takes. He knocks on Vassal's door. Jesus Christ. And there you see the accountant tied up with a card, and it was like basically what you should have done.
What you should have done. I'm like, that was an attack, sir. I'm like, wow, all right. Let him know.
So I have other cases.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, man. Yeah.
But so he provides Vassal with all the evidence that he's acquired from the game for the past 6-7 months.
He showed Vassal that he's a better detective in 7 months than Vassal is his whole life. But what are you gonna do?
And then you're saying he goes to.
He goes to the grave.
He goes to the grave,
and he opens he has a present for the grave. He opens it to train set. We see that his son likes playing with trains in the flashbacks. So then you don't see what he does, but when he opens it, you see it's a train. Yeah, and then he begins.
So then he goes. He's listening to the police scanner or whatever. He drives past somewhere and he sees that 2 people are being mugged.
Yep.
By coincidentally G17 members or whatever. So it's like a couple being mugged. They take the gang members take their wallets and go to run off. Yeah. And you see Brian kind of freaking out, what am I going to do it? Obviously I've been training for all these months. Am I going to actually do it? So you see him drive off. Yeah. And then you think that, it's done with. He's not doing it.
Because maybe these guys are too small fish or something like that too.
But then you see him drive back, and he kind of drives after them and then pins them both to a wall. Yeah. And then out of the window, he stabs one guy in the gut.
That was
then
brutal.
The second guy, he goes to drive off, and the second guy jumps on the car.
Yeah, so he's like holding on top, and he's trying to do donuts and spin
which he was practicing.
Yep, absolutely. He's a very good driver.
Yeah, but he can't get the guy off the top of the car, so the guy tries to shoot him, and he's able to take the gun from the guy and shoot him. Yeah, like shoot the gang member. And then there's just silence, and then you just see blood kind of dripping down the windshield. And then the gang member
it made like the sliding noise going down too. Yeah.
And then you see, and this was the real of it. That's what I was saying earlier. But it was just like Brian opens the door and just vomits.
Yep. Yeah.
Because of the fact that yes, he's been trained for this. He's been on a vengeance mission, but
the first 2 dudes he's ever killed.
Yeah, he never thought he'd actually do it.
Yeah. Or I mean, even if he thought he could do it, you don't know how you're going to react when you kill 2 dudes for the first time. Everyone remembers the first. Yeah.
So he next we get a scene of like him throwing something over where the compound where the G17 like are based, and so he throws something over. The big guy sees it and he delivers it to the shooter, who is now we'll call him the leader.
Yeah, the leader. Well, apply it, the leader. Yeah. He was just doing cocaine.
Yeah. And he places and it's just a piece of paper with 2 fingers in it.
Yeah.
With
like thumbs.
With the G17 tatted on the fingers.
Honestly, truly, I missed the G17 tat. So I was like, these are just 2 dirty fingers. They could be anyone.
I was like, what the fuck is saying fingers?
Yeah, no, right? Like, they could be anyone's fingers. Yeah. Got you. Okay, I missed the G17.
This is yelling at your henchman. I told you, always get a note, guy.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, what is this? Yeah.
But yeah, so now Playa is on high alert a bit. So now we see Brian. He's still following the police scanner. He sees there's a shootout between the cops and the gang.
Well, I think there's gang war going on.
Yes.
So 2 separate gangs are shooting at each other. Cops caught in the middle of it or something. Yeah.
And so like he sees Brian sees one cop get shot, and he pulls right up, which is who pulls up to a shootout.
Yeah. Well, hey, he put Kevlar vest on the inside of his car.
I don't think that's how that works.
I think it is. Yeah, because the movie says works like this, so movies work.
But anyway, so he pulls up. He sees one cop get shot, and then he sees another one gets kind of shot, but she's still alive.
But she gets shot in the leg.
Yeah, she's just kind of holed up because she can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so like he gathers his nerves. He starts driving around what he was practicing with the donuts, and slowly but surely. Oh, you saw also, which I appreciated. Is when he was at the gun range, he had the regular stance with both hands.
Yep. Yeah.
Where he's supposed to hold it. And then he was also practicing shooting with the right and the left.
Yes, with both hands. So it was like bang, 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 switch, bang, 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 bang. Yeah, great.
And then so you see as he's driving around, he's with either one hand or the other outside of the window, slowly taking down gang members.
Yep, he's a great shot. Great driver.
And then once the coast is clear, he kind of opens the door for the cop to get in.
Yeah.
And tries to drive away because she can't pull herself in.
But there's still clearly gang members there.
Yeah.
He didn't kill all of them. Yeah.
He was just laying down some fire to get her out of it. But sadly, the cop, dies.
Yeah.
And so he has to do the disrespectful thing of just pushing her out.
Yeah, because he was like, I'm trying to do the right thing, and then she gets shot, and then you just see her body fall out of the car. So he very clearly was like, well, fuck it. Pop, kick her.
I did my thing.
Yeah, he's like, I tried. Yeah.
And so like he stops, and you saw that one of the gang members, for some reason, during the shootout, it's like a live recording.
It's a FaceTime or something.
Yeah, it's taking a live a recording of both Brian and then the shootout, and then like to send to Playa.
Yeah.
So that, and I think Playa recognizes Brian as the dude he shot in the throat, which
bullshit.
was bullshit.
Yeah, I truly think it was kind of same because he had like that flashback to it, but I'm like, you can't recognize it from a red Mustang.
That's like the fucking in Thanksgiving with I saw the brambles on your boot.
I mean, at least the brambles made a little more sense because she remembered running through them versus this is a brand new car and a man you can't see.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, so Brian goes to the guy who was taking the video. I guess just hits him with his car. He doesn't shoot him or anything like that.
Yes.
And he takes his phone. And so
apparently that phone is not locked.
Yeah. So now Playa knows that he has a phone, so he sends out a mass text saying, "Kill this guy."
Yeah, because on the live video he shoots the dude on it. Yeah. And but he has a phone, and clearly anyone can just unlock this phone to read all the text messages. Yeah.
And so now we get his second in command, the big guy, the henchman, is on. Like first he was about to kill somebody, some other gang member with a fucking machete.
Yep.
And then like he gets a text, one of his boys who has his phone was like, "Yo, check this out."
Yeah.
And so he reads it, and now he's on assignment to kill Brian.
And he kills a guy else.
Then he goes back to cut the.
Yeah. But we just don't see it. Yeah.
And so now, there's a bounty out for Brian. So like he stops for a bit, and like there's this like little music player that he has
that he gave. He and his son built together.
And so like he's parked somewhere, and then you just see the henchman, like the second in command, basically. And there's a car chase.
Yes, yeah.
And like this was cool too. Just like I think once again it's John Woo, so he does action scenes fairly well, whether it's hand-to-hand combat or car chases. Just like he does action really well. But so. I mean, it's a car chase. They're shooting.
Yeah, he runs into another gang. Yeah, then they all get sandwiched. More car chase, more shooting.
Yeah, and then there's a crash. I think the second in command's car crashes.
Yeah, he gets out of it, but he looks super beat up.
Yeah, he looks beat up. And then Brian is like, I think he has to abandon his car. Yeah,
his car is way too fucked up, so he abandons it when he grabs the motorcycle.
Yes, and then like so. He's waiting outside of the G17's base, and now Playa is like, okay, everybody get back here. We like this guy's coming after us. We need to hold up in the house to protect.
Yeah,
and so like Brian just waits for all of the gang members to come back to the house, and then like so he sneaks his way in. The shootout at the door.
Yeah. Also, we see, I think, around this time too, Detective Vassal is outside of the house too. I think.
Well, yeah, he's
outside of the warehouse.
Yeah, kind of. Well, he's like on the hunt.
Yeah, he's like looking at it and stuff around the same time.
And so Brian gets into the compound.
Of course, does the cool sliding bike underneath the door that's closing, starts shooting everybody.
Everybody, and he's kind of like holed up in a corner where he can't do anything. So he just like with the motorcycle was like leaking gasoline, so he like shoots at it. And it explodes, like just eviscerating anybody in the area.
Well, I mean, they're just burnt. So it doesn't like explode. It just catches on fire, which then catches everyone else too. Because, I'm like, I mean, the man is like 5 feet away from the fire, too. And I'm like, okay, cool. But then this is what happens. And it's every single time. Brian has clearly suited up. He's got a whole fucking duffel bag full of a whole bunch of fun weapons and shit. And what does he do after shooting those two guys with a shotgun in the car? He leaves the fucking duffel bag down there and just takes the one shotgun. Where's like the machine guns he bought? Where's everything else?
That's what I was like, the shotgun was an interesting one for like multiple waves of fucking gang members.
Yeah, because then it was cool because then it's like them going up the stairs. So a really cool choreographed scene would not work at all.
Not at all.
Because you would just literally anyone could just be like, okay, got you.
Because even I like you've seen the raid and stuff like that, and even with that, like they were strategic on how they moved up to each of the floors because obviously. On some Obi-Wan shit, you got the high ground. Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. It's like since the staircase is like that, literally anyone would just look down and get you. Yeah.
And so, Brian makes his way up the stairs, and he's like you said, there's a very cool scenes with
left and right,
like gunfighting and like just hand-to-hand combat as well.
Gun fu.
He makes his way up to the top of the stairs, and then like before he proceeds. He had also like placed this little bomb in his jacket or whatever.
Was cool. Yeah.
And it basically it's like a tripwire. So like anybody coming behind him will trigger the tripwire.
Something I appreciated with this too, though, is he is steadily getting more and more beat up. Yes. Because he literally got stabbed in the leg in that first fight like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago when he grabbed the accountant. He's been shot in the chest he has a bulletproof vest, but that's still like bang, bang, bang. That's going to be a lot of pain.
I think it just shows movies like this because so often action heroes are basically invincible until the movie needs them not to be.
Yeah.
So there's no real stakes. But with this one, it was just like, is he going to make it?
Yeah, 100%.
Obviously it is because it is a movie.
It's a movie, but like you're
still questioning it.
Yeah. Also, is now around the time when Playa gives his girlfriend heroin and they start dancing around.
Yes,
so good God.
So it's like shortly after he sends a text to everybody come back, he gives her heroin, wakes her up.
And then
they just start dancing. And I'm just like, do you not realize the severity of this scenario?
And what they're dancing to is like Combi Christ, like evil club mix of like whatever. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, I saw Combi Christ. It's not Combi Christ, it's a different artist, but like that same kind of vibe. If you know Friar Fry from Triple X, you have that. Maybe that might tell some of the people, but just like weird music, and he's just like la 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 dancing around. I did not like that scene. That was jarring and weird. And him and his heroined up girlfriend are just spinning around with all these golden balls from the ceiling. Very weird scene. Yes.
But so anyway, Brian makes it up to the top of the stairs. He puts up a tripwire for anybody coming behind him, and I think this is where we get his fight with the henchman,
second in command,
the second in command,
who
was a little beat up. But
how the fuck that guy get back so fast? I don't know. But hey, whatever. Man, teleported over the tripwire. Yeah.
But yeah, so they fight, and this is another intense fight scene.
Yeah.
It was like very similar to the first one with the accountant.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, but obviously Brian's kind of outmatched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of the size, but
the fucking second in command gets shot 2 or 3 times,
Mhm.
gets stabbed in the neck,
yeah.
and he's just like, "Nah, I'm gonna kill you."
Keep going, like
Yeah,
he's still
man.
pushing him through
Dude
walls.
is the juggernaut.
Yeah. But he's able to defeat him.
Yes. And then around this time too, is that when Detective Bass?
So yeah, after he defeats the second in command,
that's what it is. It's when he's fighting the second in command. 3 dudes come up, they trip the wire, it explodes.
Mm-hmm.
That gets the second in command's attention just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So then Brian gets the upper hand.
Yeah,
that's literally how that went down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Vassal. Jesus Christ, I can see it in my head, but it coming out was weird. Vassal,
old big head. There you go. That'll help. Yeah.
There it is. I should have gave him a nickname. Yeah. But yeah, so Vassal was coming up the stairs as well. So he's taking out any of the remaining kind of
who are also coming out?
Gang members.
Vassal apparently can do work too.
Yeah,
guns akimbo style. He slides, shoots a guy, grabs it, guns akimbo style.
It was. I think it was because of the fact it was like, bro, we have Kid Cudi in this movie. He's done nothing.
Yeah, literally up into this.
They should have at least made this quick change. Just at least make them friends. Like, something.
Yeah, like doing this together. Maybe.
But yeah, so this is after the explosion. Brian is able to get the upper hand on the second in command, able to defeat him, and he's sitting there like recovering, like bleeding and like kind of like reloading the gun and stuff like that.
Sorry, quick time, just because I had this thought, when you're talking about like how could this movie be better, literally thought that, have like Kid Cudi be the detective who is like alienated from the force because he wants to go after these guys, but the ones up top won't let him. So then he and Brian decide to team up together on this. That would have been so fucking cool. But so he's recuperating, etc.
Yeah, so he's kind of recuperating, waiting because obviously he realizes like he needs to go forward. He's almost done, and this is where he sees Vassal. And they kind of point guns at one another, and then kind of realize, okay, we're both on the same mission. And so like they start walking through, and this is what like you just see through the door that they're trying to go through. The Playa's girlfriend, with a fucking machine gun, firing. And then like she fucking has to reload. And
slowest fucking reload ever. She is clearly like click, click, click. Oh fuck! I need to reload. Click, click. Click, click, and that's when they decide to fucking stick their heads out to try and take her out after she has clearly had 10 minutes to reload.
Then they nod at one another. Brian's able to get somehow around the door that they were trying to go through and like puts a gun to her head. And she kind of just looks at him. And
puts her hands
I think the reason they were trying to show that she's like using heroin, like maybe she's not in her right mind, maybe she's being used.
I would have shot the crap out of her.
But yeah, so after like he kind of like relents, he doesn't want to shoot this young girl, and so she shoots him.
Yeah, duh.
Several fucking times.
She fucking does. Yeah,
and then she also shoots Vassal as well,
like 3 times in like gut, chest, and like fuck.
Yeah. And then finally, Brian shoots her in the leg and then in the head. And I think this was the CGI that got me. I was just like, you see like a little like her laying there, just her head, and then like a bullet hole there with blood. And I'm just like, that looks fake as shit.
Yeah, fair.
But it's the end of the movie.
I was very disappointed in Brian for not just shooting it quicker. I was, but yeah.
But then so now there's only one person left. So Brian goes into the room with Playa, and like they have no words exchanged. They kind of shoot at one another, and then there's a quick fight, and then like you just see Brian on the floor with his hands around. First Playa gets the upper hand, and then is about to shoot Brian
and it's
again.
Like the same parallel where like Brian's laying down or like sitting, looking up. Playa has the gun, kind of aimed at his throat again. And
here comes Vassal to shoot Playa before he can do that.
Yes,
and then Brian's able to get on top and like just choke.
And then another weird fucking scene.
And then you see because there's golden, like you mentioned earlier. There's golden balls in his room. Yeah. It's basically like making up kind of a Christmas tree or something.
Yeah, it's like Christmas ornament golden balls, but really big. Like bowling ball size.
And then like as he's choking out Playa, you see one of the balls. There's just a reflection of his son looking at him, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
And the music changes. Like it's like intense music, and then the music changes to like the ting 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 of like the little toy box thing that his son had, and then he goes back and finishes it. Like that was so unnecessary. I hated that.
That was so weird. But anyway, so he kills Playa. Then his work is done. He goes to lay down. For some reason, Vassal comes over to lay down next to him. Like he could just die at the door.
Yeah, no. They're gonna lay down.
And then they just look at one another. And once again, it was like this is not a relationship that they built at all. First of all, they had no words, but that's a movie.
Yeah.
But still, like you didn't show a prior relationship before his son getting gunned down.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just like, it was weird that they had what I think it was just because of the fact that he was the more famous person in the cast.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you also have to remember he had to go. They formed a bond when Brian let the girl shoot him 3 times. When Brian let her shoot him, he was like,
"Oh, you let her shoot you too? Okay, we're good.
We're good, boys." Yeah.
And so he kind of drifts off, implying that he's died, and then you get his wife at Taylor's grave.
Yes.
And now you see the train set around it going.
It's a very nice scene right there. Yeah. But then she reads the letter.
Then she reads his letter, basically saying that like, what happened shouldn't have happened. I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you.
Sure could have been that. My bad. And I'm just like, bro, no. I hate
Maybe a second draft. Maybe a second draft.
I'm going to get it. He's not good with words. All right. Like,
was he silent prior to the
Yeah, right. Because it was just like, yeah, and then you fell out of love with me. That's on me. My bad. And I was like, man, come on. But he's like, I don't care. I'm ready to die.
Yeah, but basically he's just saying that like it was the letter that he gave to her right before he went on his rampage.
Yes.
Knowing that he probably wouldn't survive it.
Very nice scene. I just wish the letter was written a little bit better. But it was a very nice scene showing all that. And then
movie ends.
And that is Silent Night. I know we were kind of bashing out there at the end, but let's talk about, we always like to revisit our original ranking. So Mike, you gave it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah. I'm sticking with the 2.
Sticking with the 2.
I think I enjoyed some of the action scenes. But there was just a lot in this movie. I think that's what sucks too. Like a movie like this, like you're supposed to like turn your brain off and like just let the bullshit happen and stuff like that. But me being me, I just can't. Yeah. I'm gonna have critiques for it.
No, I mean even like good action movies where you don't have to think are still can be a little like again, John Wick #1, the first John Wick movie. I think that's one of the greatest action movies of all time. But yeah.
So yeah, I'm like I said, I enjoyed a lot of when it came to the hand-to-hand combat. It's just action scenes in general.
Yeah.
But even the climax was kind of like underwhelming.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Yeah, I'm sticking with. Like I said, it's not a terrible movie.
Yeah.
At all, but like it had things that could be reworked
for sure
for the story. But yes, I'm going to stick with the 2.
All right, I'm going to drop mine to 2.5. I stick by everything I said of like great action sequences, though I did, I wasn't thinking about how jarring some of these scenes were at the end. Playa and his girlfriend dancing around weirdly in the middle of gunfights. It was very much
like Joker and Harley Quinn for some fucking reason.
I guess, but I was like, this is not doing well. And then his son's face popping up in the ball as he's choking the man to death. No.
Watch, Taylor, watch. I'm getting revenge.
This is for you. Yeah, no. So I'm going to drop it to 2.5. But with that, if you're looking for like a pretty good action movie to watch, and it's a Christmas movie, yes. So remember this, and this is what I'm going to remember. When I decorate Christmas trees, Felicia, my wife, lets me pick the Christmas movie. The rule is it just needs to be a Christmas movie. Every now and then I throw in Die Hard. Guess what I get to throw in again now? Silent Night. So again, thank you so much for listening, everyone. We are the Meddling Kids. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can get us at 2meddlingkids on Twitter and Instagram, or you can email us at 2meddlingkids@gmail.com. Mike, how can they reach out to you?
On Instagram at Days from Legendary.
And if you'd like to reach out to me, I am at EdHunt77 on Twitter and Instagram, and my Instagram comics handle is hunt.comics. See you next week for a brand new movie, y'all.
Bye.
Gotcha.
Funky donkey.